So who had it on their 2023 bingo card that Bishop Barron would be an agent of progress for the perception that the Society of St. Pius X was in schism? I sure didn't. But one thing I've learned over the last few years is expect the unexpected. Let's put it that way. So let's cut to the chase here. Bishop Barron has done something wonderful for tradition in his own diocese, and Bishop Barron has done something unprecedented, as far as I can tell, for the SSPX in a diocese in the United States. As far as I know, there may be some examples that haven't been reported, but this is as far as I know. So we're going to get to exactly what that is right here. This was a article written by Father Z. I would say Father Zed as a Canadian, but Father Z, excuse me. He had originally reported that Bishop Barron was canceling the traditional Latin Mass in his diocese because this was going around on the internet and it seemed legit. Anyway, he corrected himself, and this is what actually happened. So Father Z said, Bishop Barron canceled the TLM at a parish, but he moved it to a college chapel. And this is what happened. He said, I first posted about this based on the tweets of a distraught parishioner, clearly upset that the parish is losing the Vetus Ordo, the old Mass. But he said, I just received an email from a priest with additional information. The priest said, as someone who was aware of Bishop Barron's decision, the Mass was not canceled. It was moved from a parish where it was being celebrated on a table altar, just a table, to a college chapel where there is a high altar and an altar railing. Apparently, this is where diocesan high masses usually happen. And this was done at the request of a priest named Father Patrick Arends. And one thing I find amazing here, this was done as a way to ensure the stability and closeness to the young people at the college who support the Mass. So let's just break that down for a second. What he's saying here is there are young people at the future of the church at this university, which is a Catholic university in a Catholic diocese with permission to call it Catholic by the local bishop, with a diocesan chapel in under the authority of the bishop in the university on the campus. And there are traditional Catholics there, and Bishop Barron wants to help them out. I think that's amazing. Clap for Bishop Barron. Bravo. This does not mean that I believe Bishop Barron has become some sort of arch traditionalist. We're not going to jump on a Bishop Barron as a trad bandwagon. But call to mind Bishop Barron's interview with Shia LaBeouf last summer. I did a video about that on my channel. And you'll recall that Shia LaBeouf said Latin Mass affects him deeply because it's not like somebody's trying to sell him a car. He was saying that Novus Ordo was fake. It was like being told he was sold a car. It was inorganic. They didn't get into deep theological discussions, but Bishop Barron, in fairness, was saying, okay, explain this to me, and Shia LaBeouf did. This went viral. I mean, we're talking millions of views on that channel. On my small channel, somewhere near 100,000 views, other big Catholic YouTubers, hundreds of thousands talking about this. It clearly struck a nerve. This new Catholic convert already realized that, the Novus Ordo was basically, in his opinion, cringe. Okay. And Bishop Barron was willing to hear that, so kudos to him. And then he's since been transferred to a diocese in Minnesota. And since being there, he has spoken out against the synodal process, this weird synod on synodality nonsense, which is out of step for a man like Bishop Barron. He's spoken very strongly against the governor's pro-death laws, which I'm not sure if that's out of step, but I don't recall Barron in Los Angeles, although he was an auxiliary. He didn't have the full authority, so that's part of it. But I don't think he was speaking out against Gavin Newsom too much. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't remember seeing that. And this was very strong what he said, which is great. Speaking more like a Bishop Strickland than you would assume a stereotypical, centrist-leaning bishop like Bishop Barron. And now he's done something wonderful for this traditional Latin Mass community. Just take a look here quickly at the actual chapel. So they were in a, what sounded like a very boomer Novus Ordo situation, and he moves them to this beautiful, traditional, still has its wonderful art and mosaics and all this kind of stuff from the past, with this beautiful high altar for this traditional community. That's special. That's a very good thing. I'm sure that's a wonderful edification for that community there, and we should all be rejoicing about this, especially from a man like Barron, who we wouldn't necessarily expect this from, given his theological leanings. Here's a man who, for example, has said that, the Second Vatican Council was a victory for the new theology, as if that's a good thing. Okay. Now, here's the kicker, though. Let's read what else this priest said to Father Z. He said, Barron also granted the SSPX permission to celebrate Mass and sacraments in the same chapel and assigned the priest responsible. Oops, I should make that bigger. Sorry, I'll say that again. Bishop Barron also granted the SSPX permission to celebrate Mass and sacraments in the same chapel and assigned the priest responsible for the traditional community with the task of ensuring good relations with the SSPX. That knocked my socks off. So again, Bishop Barron has given the SSPX, as it says, permission to celebrate Mass and sacraments. I would imagine that would include weddings, baptisms. Does that include confirmations? Is Bishop Barron going to be, going out for lunch with Bishop Fillet or Tissier or Galaretta, etc., coming into the town for some confirmations? I don't know. Probably not. But I wasn't expecting this. This goes beyond anything. That's even part of Pope Francis's recommendations for weddings, for example, when he said the SSPX should be given permissions to say weddings with the local bishop approving it and so on and so forth. That just means that the society says them in their chapel and the bishop accepts the paperwork. It's very simple. It's not, the bishop doesn't have to do anything. Think about this for a second. You are a university student at this university. Your bishop is Bishop Barron. Bishop Barron has now said the Society of St. Pius X, which we're told by all the Bishop Barron fans, not all but many, schismatic. Matt Fradd's on his schism train. He was promoting the Word on Fire Bible a year ago, whatever. I don't know if Lofton is a Bishop Barron fan. Probably not now. Bishop Barron will be in the exterior darkness for his cooperation with schism. This is Bishop Barron has gone further than any other bishop, as far as I can tell, in the United States, saying the SSPX can celebrate Mass and sacraments, just Mass and sacraments. I heard of one occasion, one time, in, I think it was Ottawa, where the bishop this is years ago, Prendergast was known for being, pretty conservative, and he gave the Society of St. Pius X the permission to use the chapel for Christmas Mass or something like that, his diocesan chapel, when the society's chapel was leaking or something around Christmas. I remember hearing a story like that. It was told to me by somebody who would know it was a priest. Nonetheless, this was not a diocesan position. This was just a bishop doing a nice thing, and that's great. This is a bishop giving permission explicitly to the SSPX. So anyway, we could go on and on here. But at this point, if you're still arguing the Society of St. Pius X is in schism, you got to ignore Pope Francis. You got to ignore Pope Benedict. You got to ignore, your hero, Bishop Barron. You got to ignore a lot of things and just sort of cling to this weird hardness of heart. Very, very strange. Now, this is not because if Bishop Barron is doing this and Bishop Barron is giving his schismatics, permission to use his chapel, which would be another problem. But anyway, at a certain point, you just have to sort of say, you got to stop the whole SSPXs and schism game. I mean, I don't know what the point is at this point. Does it just mean that the SSPX is not in schism in that diocese, but if you drive 50 minutes, it is in schism? I mean, this is just getting absurd. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not suggesting that the SSPX should work with Bishop Barron in this like a theological sense. So, the traditionalists don't get on my case saying, whoa, this is some sort of compromise. No, this is just a bishop saying the SSPX can use the chapel. I don't even know if they will use it. This is just going off of Father Z reported, Father Z. Maybe they don't need it. Maybe they already have their own church there and it's fine. I'm just saying this is fascinating. I mean, you are a priest of the SSPX. You want to bring the traditional sacraments to young people. The bishop said you can use the university chapel. That's pretty amazing. Anyway, that's pretty cool. This has been the Kennedy Report. Until next time, God bless.
Thanks for watching the video. And before you go, I just wanted to talk about one more thing. You've probably heard the expression buy locally. However, some things you just can't get locally. So if you're going to buy something you can't get locally, you want to try to buy from somebody who shares your values. Well, if you enjoy what we do at this channel, thank you very much, and we share the same values. Well, here at the Kennedy Report, we've actually embarked on a very interesting endeavor. We've procured frankincense oil from the Middle East. Maybe you've bought essential oils before. I know I have. My wife likes them for making remedies and making the house smell nice. Well, the problem is with those companies is that usually they're owned by people who are part of really strange New Age movements or false religions. So by supporting them, you're supporting something that you're not in line with. Well, if you click the link in the description, you can see where we have our sacred frankincense oil, and we also have a lanolin balm for sale. There are numerous reported health benefits for frankincense oil. We're not making a claim one way or the other here at the Kennedy Report. That's not our place. But if you're into these things, you know what I'm talking about. And it should be noted, we actually procured some of the best oil in the world, and we only have 70 of them in stock, and they're going to go quick, and we're not sure if we're going to get them again. So if you like the channel and you can't buy these things locally because you don't happen to live near a frankincense manufacturing location in the Middle East, then at least you can buy them from somebody who has the same values as you. Click the links in the description to find out more, and thank you.